0 to 60 miles per hour in about 3 seconds. Anything like this in the U.S.?
Nothing that I've drove.
But don't look for electric cars from BYD on American roads anytime soon.
U.S. government need to be more friendly.
Stella Lee is the CEO steering BYD's expansion in the Americas. In an exclusive interview, she said the U.S. is not part of the plan yet.
They're not ready. But then for BYD, we are ready.
What conditions would need to exist in order to consider an entry into the U.S. market?
That's a good question. You should go back to ask the DCO.
Yes, did you just hear about China and electric vehicles? A new player has entered the electric vehicle scene to compete with the globally renowned giant Elon Musk's company, Tesla. This new player has challenged Tesla's price of $25,000 by offering their vehicle for $10,000. In fact, they made a remarkable 50,000 orders in just 27 minutes after the car launch. So how did they achieve this? And which company is behind the wheels of this innovation? Grab a seat and let's find out. Electric vehicles. An electric vehicle, or EV for short, is any vehicle that has an electric motor powered by a battery pack. Over the past 2 decades, EVs have quickly become an alternative solution to internal combustion engine cars. While our traditional cars offer a lot of comfort as we drive them every day, they actually cause much more harm than we can imagine. Over the past few decades, we've seen the likes of Tesla, Nissan, and BMW develop their own solutions for electric vehicles. However, electric vehicles are not a new concept. They've been around for more than 100 years. With growing popularity and affordability, many governments and car makers are increasingly investing in developing and deploying zero-emission models. One key reason for this is that EVs are seen as a crucial solution for reducing the transport sector's greenhouse gas emissions, accounting for about 1/4 of global carbon dioxide emissions. Many experts agree that the electrification of the transportation sector will be vital in our efforts to stem climate change. According to the International Energy Agency, IEA, EVs will make up 18% of global car sales in 2023, compared to just 4% in 2020. The IEA's Global EV Outlook 2023 report estimates that 14 million new EVs, including both battery-only models and plug-in hybrids, will be sold in 2023, a 35% increase from the 10 million units sold in 2022. Also, according to the Zeroing In on Healthy Air report, transitioning to 100% sales of zero-emission vehicles and 100% non-combustion electricity generation over the next 30 years could save approximately 110,000 lives and avoid over 2.7 million childhood asthma attacks. The hottest market for EVs at the moment is China, which is the largest market for EVs. It accounted for almost 2/3 of all electric car sales in 2022, and the trend is expected to continue in 2023. Still, in 2024, the market share of electric cars in China is estimated to reach 45%, with Europe and the United States following the lead. Apart from environmental awareness, which has been one of the major factors driving the EV industry, other factors contributing to the industry's growth are supportive policies, technological innovation, cost reduction, and consumer preference. How has China been able to harness some of these factors to stay ahead of other rival nations? Let's find out. China EV market. From generous government subsidies to support for lithium batteries, here are the ways in which China was able to build the world's leading EV industry. In the early 2000s, China discovered that its car industry was not as strong as it had thought. While it was a powerhouse in manufacturing traditional internal combustion cars, no domestic brands seemed poised to rival the foreign makers dominating the market. They realized that they would never overtake the US, German, and Japanese legacy automakers on internal combustion engine innovation, says Tu. They also recognized that research on hybrid vehicles, whose batteries in the early years played a secondary role to the gas engine, was already being led by countries like Japan. This meant that China couldn't really compete there either. This realization pushed the Chinese government to break away from established technology and invest in an entirely new territory, cars powered solely by batteries. Though the risks were extremely high, it was worth venturing into, especially since at that time, EVs were only niche experiments made by brands like General Motors and Toyota, which usually discontinued them after just a few years. While countries like Japan, the leading giants in the hybrid industry,
So how exactly Chinese EV is doing here?
couldn't see the need to electrify their auto industry, China already perceived an opportunity there. I can already produce cars that are 40% more energy efficient than yours. It will take a long time for you to even catch up with me, says He Hui, Senior Policy Analyst and China Regional Co-Lead at the International Council on Clean Transportation, ICCT, a nonprofit think tank. In commencing their initiatives, China already had some structural advantages in place. While EV manufacturing involves different technology, it still requires cooperation with the existing auto supply chain, and China had a relatively strong one. The manufacturing capabilities and inexpensive commodities that sustained its gas car factories could also be shifted to support a nascent EV industry. So the Chinese government took steps to invest in related technologies as early as 2001. That year, EV technology was introduced as a priority science research project in China's 5-year plan, the country's highest-level economic blueprint. In addition to this initiative, from 2009 to 2022, the government poured over 200 billion RMB, which is $29 billion, into relevant subsidies and tax breaks. While the subsidy policy officially ended at the end of last year and was replaced by a more market-oriented system called dual credits, it had already had its intended effect. The more than 6 million EVs sold in China in 2022 accounted for over half of global EV sales. The government has played an important role in supporting both the supply of EVs and the demand for them. As a result of generous government subsidies, tax breaks, procurement contracts, and other policy incentives, a slew of homegrown EV brands have emerged and continued to optimize new technologies to meet the real-life needs of Chinese consumers. This, in turn, has cultivated a large group of young car buyers. The government also helped domestic EV companies stay afloat in their early years by handing out procurement contracts. Around 2010, before the consumer market accepted EVs, the first ones in China were part of its vast public transportation system. Finally, local governments have sometimes worked closely with EV companies to customize policies that help them grow. For example, BYD, the Chinese company currently challenging Tesla's dominance in EVs, rose to prominence by maintaining a close relationship with the southern city of Shenzhen, making it the first city in the world to completely electrify its public bus fleet. However, there is another advantage that China has when it comes to electric cars. Many companies are trying to outdo one another in the race to produce the cheapest one. One of them is BYD, or Bring Your Dreams, and we will tell you about their cheapest EV model yet, costing a mere $10,000. The BYD Seagull. Let's talk about BYD, a focus on BYD. BYD started selling cars around the same time as Tesla, but it took a very different path to global EV superstardom. So how did they start? BYD is a Chinese conglomerate that produces electric vehicles, batteries, solar panels, and other products. The company was founded by Wang Chuanfu, a chemist, in 1995 as a rechargeable battery manufacturer, competing with Japanese imports in the Chinese market. They began with just 20 employees. In 1998, BYD opened its first overseas office in Rotterdam, the Netherlands, and 3 years later, in 2000, it began building its first industrial park in China. In 2003, BYD acquired Xinchuan Automobile Company, a state-owned enterprise that had been making cars since 1987, and entered the automobile business as a subsidiary named BYD Auto. By 2005, its first production model, the F3 compact sedan, was already on the market, and in 2008, it introduced a plug-in hybrid variant of the model called the F3DM. Interestingly, this early plug-in hybrid electric vehicle, PHEV, was showcased by BYD at the 2008 Geneva Motor Show, already hinting at the automaker's international ambitions. However, at that time, the cars had such questionable quality, designs, and technology that they were hardly taken seriously by the rest of the world. Despite this, they continued to develop. And by 2007, their industrial park in the Pingshan district in Shenzhen, China, was completed and has served as the company's headquarters since. BYD also opened a North American headquarters in Los Angeles in 2011 after the city placed a huge order for electric buses. Since then, BYD has expanded its product portfolio and market presence, becoming one of the leading electric car makers in China and the world. How did BYD rise to fame and success despite the dominance of the American-based Tesla company? Let's find out. BYD's success in the EV market. BYD's ownership structure is complex and diversified, involving multiple shareholders, subsidiaries, and joint ventures. According to its 2021 annual report, BYD's largest shareholder is Wang Chuanfu himself, who owns 17.6% of the company's shares. The second largest shareholder is Lu Xiangyang, a relative of Wang and a co-founder of BYD, who owns 13.5% of the shares. The third largest shareholder is Youngie Investment Holding Group Co., Lederwanti, a private equity firm that owns 5.3% of the shares. Other notable shareholders include Berkshire Hathaway, the investment company of Warren Buffett, the legendary American investor, which owns 7.7% of the shares. In 2008, Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway purchased $225 million worth of shares, largely out of interest in BYD's battery business, giving the brand a significant boost. In the subsequent years, substantial investments in and incentives for electric vehicles, EVs, by the Chinese government helped push BYD and the rest of China's auto industry into a surprising leadership position on the world stage, something that only became readily apparent after the pandemic. Today, BYD is one of the leading electric car makers in China and the world, producing both battery electric vehicles, BEVs, and plug-in hybrid electric vehicles, PHEVs. In 2022, BYD increased its production target for BEVs and PHEVs from 1.2 million to 1.5 million units, reflecting its strong growth and ambition in the electric vehicle market. According to data from the China Passenger Car Association, CPCA, BYD sold 911,141 battery electric vehicles in 2022, a massive 184% increase from 2021, making it the second highest seller among all car makers globally, only behind Tesla. Tesla should watch its back. BYD also sold 952,353 PHEVs in 2022, another substantial increase of 237% from 2021, the highest among all car makers globally. BYD's total sales of new energy vehicles, NEVs, which include BEVs and PHEVs, reached 1,863,494 units in 2022, a 209% increase from 2021 and the highest among all car makers globally. In 2023, a total of 13.6 million EVs, including BEVs and hybrids, were sold worldwide, an increase of more than 30% over the previous year. The Chinese market grew by around 30% in 2023, with 7.9 million units sold. Similar growth is anticipated in 2024, with sales expected to reach 10 million in China alone, according to Motion. Of these sales, BYD sold about 3 million electric cars, including hybrids, globally in 2023. Of that number, 1.6 million were BEVs. By comparison, Tesla, which does not sell hybrids, delivered a total of 1.8 million vehicles worldwide last year, accounting for about 19% of the global market for BEVs. The United States and Canada bought around 700,000 of Tesla's vehicles, while 600,000 were sold in China. European sales accounted for about 400,000 vehicles. Tesla's shares are down 29% so far this year, while BYD stock is down almost 6%. BYD's success in the electric vehicle market is attributed to several factors, including its diversified product portfolio, technological innovation, cost competitiveness, supportive policies, and global expansion. BYD offers a wide range of electric cars, which we will discuss later in this video. Another advantage for BYD is that it also develops its own batteries, motors, and power electronics, giving it an edge over its competitors in terms of performance, safety, and efficiency. BYD's electric cars are also affordable and attractive to consumers, thanks to its economies of scale, vertical integration, and subsidies from the Chinese government. Moreover, BYD is expanding its presence in overseas markets such as Europe, Latin America, and Africa, where it sells not only electric cars but also electric buses and trucks. Since 2009, China has encouraged the development and adoption of NEVs, primarily through financial subsidies and other policy measures such as tax breaks, license plate quotas, public procurement, and charging infrastructure. However, since 2016, China has been gradually reducing and phasing out NEV subsidies to encourage market competition, innovation, and quality improvement among NEV manufacturers and consumers. According to a policy statement released by 4 central ministries in April 2021, China planned to reduce NEV subsidies by 10%, 20%, and 30% in 2020, 2021, and 2022 respectively, before altogether eliminating them at the end of 2022. The policy paper also tightened the technical conditions for NEVs to qualify for subsidies, such as boosting the minimum driving range, energy efficiency, and battery density, as well as setting a passenger car price cap of 300,000 RMB, about $46,500. The policy statement also said that local governments should not provide further subsidies for NEVs above the standards set by the federal government. With their blossoming global market, let's look at some of the car products they offer. BYD Seagull products. BYD is not just a car manufacturer. It builds and markets a wide array of vehicles, ranging from small city cars to buses and trucks. Most of these vehicles are available with either a plug-in hybrid or fully electric powertrain, catering to a variety of consumer needs. Passenger cars are produced under the BYD name and carry the BYD badge, but the company also operates several separate brands, each with its own distinct identity and badging. Among BYD's offerings, the Seagull subcompact hatchback stands as the smallest model. The compact Dolphin follows it. For those who prefer sedans, BYD offers the compact Chin, the Seal, designed to compete with the Tesla Model 3 and Volkswagen ID.7, and the larger Han. BYD provides options like the Atto 3, the Song, and the Tang for crossover enthusiasts. In addition to its mainstream models, BYD also ventures into the luxury segment. Denza, one of BYD's more upscale brands, initially began as a joint venture with Mercedes-Benz. Today, Denza offers 3 models: the N7 and N8 crossovers and the D9 luxury minivan. Yangwang is another luxury brand under BYD, aimed directly at competing with European premium manufacturers. Yangwang's vehicles, including the U9 sports car and the U8 large SUV, are positioned as ultra-premium models with prices starting at over 1 million Chinese yuan, or approximately $141,000. Let's talk about the Seagull. The BYD Seagull is a new electric subcompact automobile introduced by BYD Auto, a leading Chinese electric vehicle manufacturer, at the Shanghai Auto Show in April 2023. As the smallest and most affordable model in BYD's Ocean EV lineup, which includes the Dolphin, Seal, and Atto 3, the Seagull aims to provide a stylish, affordable, and practical solution for urban mobility. With a range of up to 252 miles, 405 kilometers on a single charge, and a starting price of roughly $10,800, the Seagull has quickly garnered attention. The Seagull's design is both striking and functional. Measuring 3,780 millimeters long, 1,715 millimeters wide, and 1,540 millimeters tall, with a 2,500 millimeter wheelbase. It features sharp lines, irregular creases, and aggressively curved headlamps. The sloping roofline and rear lamps, connected by a light bar, add to its dynamic look. The front fascia is sleek and minimalist, featuring a small grille and a large BYD emblem, while the side profile with flared wheel arches and black cladding gives it a sporty appearance. The rear end is simple, with a spoiler and diffuser. The Seagull is available in various colors, including white, black, blue, red, and yellow. Inside, the Seagull offers a roomy and modern cabin with a two-tone design and a flowing dashboard. It can comfortably seat up to 4 passengers, with ample headroom and legroom for its size. The centerpiece of the interior is a large 12.8-inch touchscreen infotainment system that can swivel to adjust the viewing angle at the push of a button. This system supports navigation, audio streaming, voice control, and smartphone connectivity. The digital instrument cluster is 5 inches in diameter and provides essential information such as speed, battery level, driving mode, and range. The steering wheel is equipped with multi-function buttons and paddle shifters for regenerative braking, while the center console features a rotary knob for gear selection and various physical controls for climate and other settings. The Seagull is built on BYD's third-generation EV platform, which also underpins the Dolphin and other models. It offers 2 motor options: a 55-kilowatt motor that can accelerate from 0 to 62 miles per hour, 100 kilometers per hour, in 11 seconds and reach a top speed of 81 miles per hour, 130 kilometers per hour, and a 75-kilowatt motor that can achieve the same speed in 9 seconds, with a top speed of 93 miles per hour, 150 kilometers per hour. Powering these motors are 2 battery options: a 30-kilowatt-hour lithium iron phosphate/sodium ion battery and a 38-kilowatt-hour lithium iron phosphate battery. Both are part of BYD's Blade battery technology, which enhances energy density and safety. The 30-kilowatt-hour battery is particularly noteworthy as it is the first BYD EV to use sodium-ion battery chemistry. Sodium-ion batteries have several advantages over lithium-ion batteries, including lower cost, improved thermal stability, and better performance in cold conditions. However, they have lower energy density and slower charging rates. BYD's battery division, FinDreams, is responsible for developing and mass-producing these sodium-ion batteries, which BYD has been researching since 2012 as part of its efforts to improve battery technology and reduce dependence on lithium resources. The 30-kilowatt-hour battery offers an NEDC range of up to 190 miles, 305 kilometers, and can be charged from 30% to 80% in just 30 minutes. The response to the BYD Seagull has been overwhelmingly positive. Within the first 24 hours of its debut, the Seagull received over 10,000 pre-orders, signaling strong demand for this small and affordable electric hatchback. Given its attractive price, impressive range, and innovative features, it's no surprise that the Seagull is poised to become a popular choice in the electric vehicle market. The first deliveries of the BYD Seagull in China are expected to commence later this year. The Seagull is set to compete in the Chinese market against other electric subcompact cars, such as the Tesla Model 2, NIO ET5, and Xpeng P5, although it is not in the same price range as these competitors. The Seagull's competitive pricing has been further enhanced by government incentives, including a 10% purchase tax exemption until the end of 2023, allowing Chinese buyers to pay less than the advertised price of $10,000. How has it maintained a strong presence in the EV market against its other rivals? Let's find out. Market and competition. Tesla and BYD are 2 electric vehicle industry giants, each with unique strengths and market strategies. When Tesla went public in June 2010, its stock was priced at $17 per share. Fast forward nearly 14 years, and Tesla's shares trade above $166, giving the company a market capitalization of about $560 billion. This makes Tesla not only the most valuable car company in the world, but also one of the largest companies globally by market value. Tesla's dominance was solidified in 2020 when it became the world's most valuable automaker, a position it has maintained ever since. While second-place Toyota remains far ahead of its other rivals, it still has a long way to go before it can challenge Tesla's supremacy. BYD, on the other hand, has been steadily climbing the ranks. With a market cap of $81 billion, BYD is among the top 10 automakers in the world. Although it trails behind Tesla and other major car makers like Toyota and Stellantis, a conglomerate formed from the 2021 merger of French PSA Group and Fiat Chrysler Automobiles, BYD has already surpassed BMW and Ford, and is closing in on Mercedes-Benz and Ferrari. In the last quarter of 2023, BYD briefly surpassed Tesla to become the world's #1 seller of battery electric cars. However, a sharp drop in BYD's sales in the first quarter of 2024 allowed Tesla to reclaim the top spot, despite Tesla also experiencing a dip in sales during the same period. BYD's competitive pricing has been a key factor in its rapid rise, especially when compared to Tesla's more expensive models. For instance, while Tesla's Model 3 and Model Y are priced significantly higher, BYD has captured attention with its more affordable offerings, such as the Yuan Plus crossover known as Auto 3 outside China and the Seagull. On March 4th, BYD launched a new version of the Yuan Plus and slashed the price of its predecessor by 11% to 119,800 yuan, $16,644. A few days later, BYD also reduced the price of the Seagull by 5%, bringing its starting price below $10,000. And the competition between Tesla and BYD in China, the world's largest car market, continues to intensify. One interesting fact that will shock you is that China is Tesla's biggest market after the United States, accounting for 33% of its global sales in 2023. Tesla's Shanghai Gigafactory, which began production in 2019, is the company's main export hub and delivered 947,000 cars last year. Meanwhile, although BYD does not sell cars in the United States, it does have a bus manufacturing plant in California. Both Tesla and BYD are expanding beyond their home markets and investing in factories abroad. However, as of April 2023, BYD has not announced plans to export the Seagull to other markets like the US and Europe. Nonetheless, BYD does export other electric models, such as the Dolphin, Seal, and Auto 3, to regions including Europe, Latin America, and Africa. Outro. Will you get the BYD Seagull if it becomes available in your area? Let us know in the comments section below. Also, be sure to like this video and subscribe to this channel to get notified whenever we drop entertaining and informative content like this. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to check out our other videos.